All right, here we go for, where are we? February 8th. Can't believe it. Hard to believe we're already into February. So anyway, today I wanted to kind of cover a little bit. I know this call is an open call, so open to anything. But what I wanted to do, I came across another really great sales page. And it seems like a lot of these great sales pages I've come across happen to be in the weight loss category. So these people are really good at this. So there's a lot that could be learned from this. So let me share my screen and then you can see what I'm talking about here. Okay, so this is it. Let me just copy this link here. And let me send this to you. Just going to paste this in so you guys have it. So if you want to look at this on your own as well, you can do that. Okay, so back to this. One of the things here right out of the gate that I see that I don't really like too much is when sentences run real long. And this is part of the problem with oh, I got their pop-up before you go. So when sentences run real long like this, it makes them a lot harder to read. Even here, this is a long way across to read that on a screen. So one of the things about the whole mobile devices and making things responsive, what that means is when you shrink the size of the browser down, like I'll show you what happens to this. When you shrink the browser down, it reformats itself. That's what responsive means. So see how much easier that is to read when it's not stretched all the way across? And even this, see how much easier that is to read? So when I'm doing copy, I like to put the breaks in. So regardless of whether the screen is out this wide or it's in here like this, I can control how long the lines are. So I can control the readability. So that's just something, I just wanted to share with you guys, is I do always try and control the breaks. The only place where that might get a little dicey is if we were controlling the breaks here and then it got shifted down to a very small mobile device and we kind of lost control of that. So a way to avoid that is not having to put the breaks in, but making the cell that contains this text only be so wide. And then that way you don't have to put the hard breaks in. You're making the cell control the width, so it breaks the copy for you that way. So that's a more creative way to do it. The old school way is just to put the hard breaks in. But the problem with that is when you get to these, responsive devices, they can make it look really funky and chopped up when it starts, pushing things around like that. But look at this, up at the top, we usually have like a brow copy that calls people out. And what they've done here is they have actually put a warning in there. And this is one of the things that I have talked about this. I've heard this on radio commercials and always in relationship to diet. And it says, due to recent reports from our readers who have had accelerated fat loss from the true story below. So that call out really makes you think, that reports are coming in, and this has to do with social proof. So you're planting the seed that reports are coming in from readers who have had accelerated fat loss. So you're really creating this sense of, of social proof based on that caption right there. And then you're saying from the true story below. So you're tying that in, you know, from a psychological standpoint, there's a lot going on here. And then it says, please consult your physician if you experience more than 1 to 2 pounds per day of belly fat loss for more than 12 or more than 12 pounds per week. So people would love to lose 1 to 2 pounds per day. Like, that's a problem, right? So they're saying if you experience more than that, so they're expecting you to experience that by that statement, then they're saying, you know, consult your physician. So, you know, you might be doing too well using this particular thing. So that's some pretty interesting copy. That's an interesting twist on things. On the one that I heard on the radio, it was very similar to that, but they had an even different twist on it. They said if you experience more weight loss than, you know, whatever, they said our recommendation is that you cut back on your use of the product because it's too effective for your body. And, you know, so I mean, what a way to plant a seed that, hey, this thing really works like crazy. You know, is it true or not? Who knows? But it's more about the copy of tying in and getting that across. It's about addressing objections. It's about creating a unique mechanism, or the thought of a unique mechanism, without even stating it. I mean, we don't even know what it is here yet. Think about that. We're just starting in at the top here with a warning. You know, warning, this thing works, and if it works too much, you should talk to your physician. That's pretty aggressive. And we haven't even got to the big idea or the bold statement here. You know, so moving on, it's how I saved my 56-year-old mother from the grip of uncontrollable weight gain. So that was like, that had a grip on her. She was in uncontrollable weight gain. You know, and then also on top of that, mysterious aches and pains, low energy, hot flashes, and frightening mood swings. So really, this is about calling somebody out, you know, that's experiencing these things. You know, he happened to put an age to it, but this could be, you know, this could be anybody experiencing these, and it doesn't have to be a female either. So again, it's just, you know, and it's a how-to, how I save. So this is compelling. You know, this is compelling, and you want to know because you're tying it into things that you may be experiencing. And then it goes into the traditional, you know, long sales copy. And I think that, you know, this is something, look at how long this page is. But I think this is something that you should really study all of things and see if you recognize some of the key components in here, like some of the ways that they draw out the objections and their use of the unique mechanism. They don't have it up front. In fact, this is kind of odd that there's no alluding to what the unique mechanism is. It's just an intriguing story to draw you in. And it's almost like the Fat Belly video that we showed during the first live event. So, but this is, you know, this is the copy that that lies underneath. So, do you guys have any questions so far about, you know, one of the things I wanted to point out was just this top header, because if you don't get this piece right, this is like the most important thing. This is like the big idea. And if you don't get that right, you can't draw people into your marketing message. And if they don't consume the marketing message, you'll never be able to deliver, you know, that message. You'll never be able to show them how your product or your service is the ideal one for them. You know, you'll never be able to make that connection that this is how they get what they want. This is how they get their desired outcome. So that's one of the things I just wanted to cover through here with you. So anybody got anything? Go ahead and unmute if you want to come out. Anybody learn anything from this, or anything stand out, stick out?
So, John, all of this stuff is really hypey, and I have a tendency to say that's just a little over the top for me. So, I mean, even products, I mean, I want products that are effective, no question about it, okay? It's not that I don't intend my products to do whatever they say, but there is no way in the world that I would put up an ad that looks like there's a carnival barker outside trying to usher people in. You know, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, and I'm the same way. I mean, I would not do something like this to promote myself. But the whole idea behind this is to show the call outs of all of the stuff that we talk about in the ACT program at play here. You know, in identifying what's important to them. Now, the way that they're putting it across, you know, I'm in total agreement with you. I think this is even something that might, you know, get flagged by the FTC as, you know, being outrageous claims and things. So I'm in total agreement with you there. It's just the whole point of this is more from a learning standpoint of how they're doing things differently, how they're drawing attention, like the idea of a warning up top. And I've seen that in, like I said, most of the times when I see these type of things and they're really, really aggressive. And the other thing about this is these are really effective. Now, even though we don't like them, that doesn't adjust the fact that they are highly effective. And these kind of claims and stuff actually do work if you can get, you know, if you can get away with it.
So rewrite the thing so that it looks like it's a little more logical and just
yeah, exactly. Like just the idea of how I saved. You know, you could, in your case, you could say how I saved myself, you know, and then you could just go into the things that you were experiencing and what you saved yourself from.
Okay.
You know, you could easily get away with that. Adjusting the warning up top, you know, that might actually be in your favor to recommend that they actually consult a physician, because that's in line with what you need to have happen. You know,
okay.
you're not giving medical advice, but you could, you know, you could adjust that to say, you know, something like, the results that I received off of this was startling and shocking, and I had to go consult my physician to make sure I wasn't in any danger. You know, something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
And you know, you can always, the object of this is really to learn from it and how you could use it to your own benefit. Because that's, you know, that's kind of one thing that a lot of successful people and businesses do, is they look at what's working and then they copy that and they adjust it and they make it their own. You know, instead of starting over from scratch where, you know, you're testing something that is an unknown commodity and an unknown result. Here, you know, it's, when they do these kind of things, this ad campaign had a tremendous amount of traffic, and it continues to have a tremendous amount of traffic driven to it. So that right there tells me it's converting, and it's converting well, or they wouldn't be doing that. So this also is a great type of a script, you know, to take this, readjust the wording to, you know, whatever fits your particular thing, and then turn that into a video. You know, because one thing about this is a long page sales letter. I mean, if you look, if we scroll down this, I mean, this thing goes on and on and on. It goes on forever. Me, myself, there's no way in hell I would read through something this long. I just don't have that kind of attention span. But if it was in a video format, I might sit there and I might let the video run in the background, and it would, you know, draw my attention in and out with its key points. So that's something. Now notice there was 2 sections here where it actually had the product. And the reason for that, see, they've got the product up here. If you're not convinced at this point and you're not ready to buy, then okay, well, let me give you some more details. Here, they're going to show the money back guarantee. So what that is that's their objection handling. You know, because if you're there and you didn't buy it, one of the reasons you probably didn't buy it was you're wondering, well, what if it doesn't work? Well, if it doesn't work, here you go. It's a full 6-month money back guarantee. So that's a belief. You know, they've identified a belief that you have that, well, you know, this might be like everything else I've tried and it might not work. So because of that, I'm not going to buy. So they didn't buy when they were called to buy first. So they keep scrolling, and now we've addressed that first objection that would have held them up from buying. You know, and then we go back in, it gives more detail. It you know, it addresses the how much is right for me, which this is in really good alignment with what you're doing, you know, as far as your supplement stuff. You know, how much is right for me? And then they address that, because that might also be another thing that person didn't get. You know, they didn't understand, well, how do I know how much to take? Maybe that's why they didn't buy. So this understanding of their beliefs and what prevents them from buying, and knowing what you have to convince the head of before they can actually make the purchase, is really important. So whether you're in agreement with how they wrote their copy or not, they've got a lot of the stuff in place here that follows the perfect success formula. So by taking the structure of it and plugging in your stuff and making it the way you need it to be, you know, to match your criteria, that's a pretty good thing to do. Now here, a bonus. You know, we didn't see the bonus before, so this is another thing to get them to buy. Now we've addressed 2 of their major concerns, their major objections, and now on top, now that those are out of the way, now we're going to offer a bonus on top of that. So see how this is stacking up? And then we're going to go into the next call to action. And here it is again. Okay, so I assume now that all those objections are out of the way, so let's give you the product order offer again. So a lot of times, if you're dealing with copy that is very long, and you know, if they have to scroll the page more than once or twice, they might be ready to order at the top. So you should always give them the opportunity to order soon. Take the call to action soon, and if not, immediately go into addressing the objections. So that's you know, that's one of the things that that you want to do. And then down here, it's got a little bit about. Now there's another thing. Who's behind it? Here's like a direct message. You know, this is a direct message from the guy that's offering. So there's a real person behind it. Again, that might be one of the objections. You know, who's behind this? You know, I don't want to buy from somebody I don't know who it is. So here they've addressed that, and then another call to action. So the call to actions come after addressing objections. You know, it's just like any sales process. If you have a salesperson, they're going to make the first initial presentation, and then they're going to ask for the order. You know, any salesperson is going to do this. They're going to ask for the order. And depending upon the answer, if the answer is yes, I would like to order, then you go right into the paperwork. So again, here, that's exactly what you would do. You'd go right to the order form. If the answer is no, what the salesperson would do is he would try and understand why. He would say, you know, he might ask you, like, what's holding me back? And really what he's asking for is, what is your objection? Why did he wants an answer. He wants to know, why did this not look good to you? Why are you not moving forward with this? Based on the presentation, based on what I know about you, it's the right thing for you. So why would you not do it? You know, and that might sound a little pushy the way I came across with it, but a good salesperson, all they have to do is say, well, really what's holding you back? Very non-invasive, very easy to answer question, what's holding you back? And when they tell him what's holding them back, or tell her what's holding them back, they're really revealing the objection. They're revealing what the head is saying no to. And sometimes it just didn't understand. Sometimes it wasn't explained in a way that they could get it. So it just needs that re-explanation. And once the salesperson does that, once they address the objection, they'll basically come back around and say, yeah, okay, so now that you understand how that works, would you like to move forward now? That's the second call to action. That's like the second time in this page that the product order showed up. The objection was addressed. Now back to the question, would you like to move forward with that? Now, if another objection comes up, what's the salesperson do? He repeats the process. It's a formula. It's a system. And as far as funnels, this is something I want to address from last week too, that came out with Chris. We kind of reviewed Chris's funnel, and he didn't realize he even had a funnel. And the problem with it was, I think you guys are thinking about funnels as an online thing. And really, a funnel is nothing more than a sales process. Every business has a funnel. They never used to call them funnels. They used to call them scripts. It was a sales process. And back to the beginning of time, there's always been a script. Whether you knew it or not necessarily a script maybe that you're reading like a play, but there's always a script, and it's always been. Whether it was in the head of the person that made the product or whatever, but he had an idea of how he would present the product and how he would sell the product, how much he would sell it for, what the guarantees were. There was a dialogue. That dialogue is your funnel. It doesn't have to be electronic. So with Chris, what he had going on was he had the opportunity to get in front of church organizations. So basically, they would put him on stage, they would fill the seats, and then he would give his presentation. So he was all churned up in the fact that he's got to get his funnel done. And we're like, whoa, hold on. That is a funnel. You've already got that done. All you're missing is your call to action. So he wanted to go out of flow and go and create an electronic funnel when his funnel really was a real life funnel. So don't get caught up on the idea of your funnel has to be an online process. It does not. A funnel just means it's a sales process. It can be anything that works. So I don't want you guys to get caught up in that. Any sales process is a funnel. So take advantage of that. When you can move it online and you can automate it, that's even better. But if you've got something that's working, leverage it. Leverage it. Maybe it's just like for Chris, maybe that's just his client acquisition funnel. Once he's acquired the clients, then he can move them into an automated online sales process for his next funnel. So
John, it's been a long time since I've seen a long form sales letter like this. I thought most people had gone to video. How would you make the decision if you wanted to do a long form sales letter or go to video? How do you decide what's the best approach for your market?
Well, in your analysis, you could look at what competitors are doing. If all your competitors are doing something, you can probably make the assumption that they've tested it. That's kind of a dangerous assumption. I would say you always want to test things, within any given market. Like if everyone's doing, let's say everyone was doing a long page sales letter and you said, okay, well, I need to do that. That's probably a great idea. I would also highly recommend that you test that long page sales letter against a video sales letter, because the video sales letter is just an easier way to consume a long page sales letter. So, you know, maybe these guys just got such good results from this, they stuck with it. Maybe they just didn't test the next step to see if something else would be more effective. You know, some people, they'll go to an agency and the agency will make them something that works and they just stick with it. So it doesn't mean that it's the best thing, doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. It's just it either is working or it's not. This particular one has been up for quite a while. I think I've showed you this one about 6 months ago. And this is still in play. They're still running traffic to it. It's still working. So they may also have other ones as well. So this for our purposes though, for training purpose, it's kind of hard to break down a video because we have to sit there through the whole video and then we'd have to go back and remember where everything was. Here, it's all on one long page so we can scroll through and we can get right to analyzing the thing in just, you know, in a few seconds. So that's why this to me seemed like a really good one to bring up as an example.
So some people do audio behind us. I guess it's essentially they do slides instead of just the long form.
Yes.
But you have some audio. So you've got actually something that would hit both people, both groups of people, I guess.
Yeah, because like to convert this is an easy one to convert into a video sales letter because all you would have to do, like see the picture here, that could be a slide. So when you have that, when that slide comes up, basically you're talking about this stuff with there. And you know, this right here, this is like their unique mechanism. This unique mechanism, you couldn't see this in real life. It doesn't exist in real life. So they've actually created a diagram so people can visually get why this thing works. You know, they're saying 20 times more absorbable. You know, 20 times more absorbable than powders and pills. So that right there, that's a unique mechanism. This is saying, you know, we understand that you've tried this stuff before and it didn't work. Well, here's why it didn't work. You know, theirs didn't have the liposomes, which make the mock-up to 20 times more absorbable. So they were trying to use pills and powders before, and this addresses that objection of the pills and powders didn't work. So unique mechanism. That's a, you know, and again, this sales page really just has all the stuff that we talk about in ACT in play, in action, and it's done really well. The only part, you know, like we agreed on, it's a little hypey and it's kind of circus-like the way it's brought across, but all the components are there. And again, when the components are at play, generally you've got the makings for a very successful marketing campaign. So and that is what this is. This is a very successful type of marketing campaign because it's got, you know, it's got all the key components. It's got everything it needs to get the job done, which is take someone from a state of disbelief, and you know, they always want the result. The result, the desire for the result is always there. So the heart's always going to want it. So a lot of times seducing the heart isn't very difficult. It's really just presenting, making the promises, and that's about all you need to do. But it's that convincing of the head, especially when they've tried it, especially if this is a lifelong problem or even a problem that's been persistent for, you know, a few years or even a few months. And when they've tried things, they've bought things, they've researched, the more they've done and not got the result, the stronger those beliefs are going to be that they can't get the result. So the stronger those beliefs, the more convincing it's going to take to convince the head that, hey, this really works, and this is different, and this is why, and this is what's going to get you what you really want. The other thing is the the higher the price, the more the head is going to object, just by price alone. So this, I don't believe, is a high-priced item, but what this is, what they're up against here is they're up against major objection of, I've tried everything in the diet field and nothing has worked. So they're requiring a lot of hurdles to go over to convince the head here. So that's something that that you can learn from. Now, your products, your services, the people in the ACT Apprentice program, I don't think anybody's in the weight loss thing. So I don't really think you're going to have the magnitude of objections as they're trying to overcome on this page. So you may not have to have as long a copy. You may not have to have as many objections or hurdles to get over. And especially if your product is a lower price. If you've got a lower price product that doesn't have all those objections, you can get to it very quickly. It might just be as simple as make the claim, make the promise, get the heart involved, create the desire, and then overcome the outcome, or overcome the objection rather, with money back guarantee. It might be just that simple, depending on what you're trying to sell. If it's something that you don't think they've had experience with and you're making a new claim, your path of resistance is going to be very low, very small, very short. So if that's the case, you don't want to try and oversell. You want to get to the offer. Get to the offer as quickly as it makes sense. If you can't foresee objections, then make the offer. If you've overcome the objections that you did, foresee, make the offer. If they don't take on the offer, assume there's an objection and address it. You've got to figure out where that is. You've got to figure out what those objections are. And that, my friends, goes back to analysis. If you've done your analysis properly, you will know. You'll know what they're feeling. You'll know what they're hearing. You'll know what they're seeing. You will understand where they're at. You'll understand what they're up against. And that, I've said this from the beginning. That's why analysis is so important. You can't create effectively unless you get all those things out in the open. So it all falls back to analysis is the cornerstone of a successful marketing campaign. So these people did their analysis. They didn't just write this copy out of their head. They probably did the analysis, they did tests, they did studies, they did surveys. They know their customer. They know what's important to them. And they've written effective copy for it. Be it circus-like, it's effective. And it's based on knowing their customer. So, good stuff. So anyway, I'm going to stop the share on this. Did anybody have any questions specifically about this before I cut this off? All right. Well, if so, we can always bring it back. So, all right. Well, let's move on. Okay. Ted asks, doesn't responsive also mean cross devices? Yes, it does. Responsive basically means it's going to take the shape of whatever device it shows up on, whether regardless of the, or regardless of anything. It's going to take the shape of the size of whatever object it's playing on. So that could mean mobile phones, it could mean tablets, and based on those sizes, the size of the framework is going to change. So if you've already got it shrunk down, your table size is already shrunk down, you've kind of controlled where it's going to go. One of the things I've always been a big believer in is build for the smallest device, not the biggest device. If you build for the smallest device, it's going to look good on all platforms. if you build for the biggest device, when it shrinks down, it may not look that great. So, okay, Ted says funnels, you can send people from one page to another page that's converting. That would be that would be considered a funnel. Yeah, and back to the whole, what is a funnel? A funnel is just a sales process. Now, lots of things classify as sales. An opt-in is a sale. You know, if you're trying to get people to opt into your list and you're giving away a free lead magnet, believe it or not, that's a sale. When you ask for an action and somebody's going to decide whether they take the action or not, that's a sale regardless of whether money is transacted. So when you get people onto your opt-in page to opt in for your free lead magnet, if you think that that's not a sale, you're making a mistake. It is a sale. You're asking for something. You're trading something. Maybe it's not cash, but you're trading something. You're trading something of value that you have in turn for the ability to follow up with them, their email, their contact information. That's a sale. A small sale, but it is a sale. So anything that has to do at all with a sales process is basically what a funnel is. You know, so that part of the funnel, you can actually extend this out. One funnel connects to the next, and they run throughout your entire business. You know, the first funnel is the funnel of where you get in front of people and grab their attention. That's the first funnel that you're going to have. That's going to lead them to the opt-in. That's going to lead them to the first offer. You know, hey, I have this offer, I have this thing, it's free, but it's still an offer. And what they're doing is they're deciding on the value of the offer. What's the value of the offer versus the value that you're asking for? You're asking for my information that's valuable to me. So what do you have that outweighs that value so that transaction becomes a no-brainer? If you've got something that's going to change my life and you're willing to give it to me just for the price of my name and email address, that's a good deal. So the better the deal is, the better your conversion is going to be. But make no mistake, that's a sale. You've made your first sale. And if you can't make a sale there by giving away something free, you know, you're going to need more than just help on the next step. Because next step is you're going to be asking for money. So if you can't get the first one done, if the first piece of the funnel is not working for you, don't expect the rest of the funnel to magically fall into play. You know, and I guarantee you, if the first step isn't working, it's because either your market's wrong, your message to the market's wrong. One of those two things, and that all falls back to analysis. You know, if you've got the right market and you've got the right message and you've got the right offer, you should convert. You know, any addition to any one of those things is going to increase your conversion ratio. So once you're up, once you have a viable funnel in place and it's bringing in money, the next step really is to expand upon that. It's to increase the conversion, which makes you more money with the same amount of traffic, or you increase the traffic, which makes you more money by sheer volume of numbers. But you'll have, no matter how you slice it, you're going to have your numbers. When you get enough traffic to your site that you know what your conversion numbers are, then we've got math and we can go to work to expand that and build the business that you want. You know, if you know you get 1 out of 10 and we know what each one costs and we know the value of the customer, we've got the numbers to plug in for expansion. So, you know, there's only two places where you can expand those numbers. Either you increase your conversion, which makes your costs go down, which makes your profit go up, or you expand the amount of people you're running through the funnel. You know, one or the other. It's simple math. It's really pretty cool. It's very powerful. And for business owners that get that and understand that, it really removes all limit to what they can do. It's like, that is the golden goose, you know, that's where you really want to strive to. So, all right. So what is next? So I think I was going back to the, you know, the line of funneling that is going to run, it's going to flow through your business. And back to the beginning, it starts with that first piece. It starts with the client attraction. You know, the giving of the lead magnet, the building of the list, the getting them into your marketing funnel so you can educate them. Next step would be the education-based marketing system. You know, that's where you're giving them webinars, you're giving them articles, you're helping them understand their problem and how to deal with it and what solutions are available and how your solution works and how ultimately you want to spin it into your solution is the best. And then you've got that very first offer, and this is where you change the relationship from a browser to a buyer. And yeah, I said that first step they're already a buyer, but they still haven't given you money yet. When they actually give you money and that physical transaction happens, then you've literally turned them into buyers. And buyers are so much easier to sell to than prospects. It's ridiculous. If you had 100 people that have already made a purchase from you, even if it was $1 purchase, you could convert much higher of them on any offer that you make than people that have not given you the dollar first. I'm talking like a radical difference. You might be, you know, 2 or 3 out of 100 that haven't bought anything yet, where you might be 20 or 30 out of 100 that have already given you $1. Those numbers are for real, you know. So that first thing, they call that client acquisition. That's a client acquisition funnel. And some people will call it a tripwire. You know, there's all kinds of different names for this, but there's really nothing new. It's the idea that you're going to take people from the unaware state, unaware of you, unaware of your offers, to getting them in, getting them on your list, educating them, converting them into a customer. And then you've got, after that, once they are a customer, once you've acquired the customer and that piece to the funnel is complete, the next funnel in line is going to be what a lot of people call an ascension funnel. And all that means is you're just ascending them through your product line. You know, if you only have one thing, then technically your product line is at the end of its life. And if that's the case, I think you should think really strongly of, once you've delivered that first result, what is that customer going to need next, and build the next product for them. If that's not your thing and you just don't want to do that, then all you have to do is find someone that has done just that and pass them on and just make an affiliate sale. So your business doesn't end. Because remember, one of the key components to the math is what's the lifetime value of your customer. If you only have one thing to sell them and it's a one-shot deal, the lifetime value is going to be extremely low. You know, these people don't end when your product or service ends. Their life goes on. You know, what do they need? What could you be the stepping stone to the next thing? You know, by you figuring out what they need next, they already trust you. They value your opinion because they purchased from you. If they had not had that belief, they would not have purchased from you to begin with. So you've got that going for you. So take advantage of it. Make the next offer. You know, it's like the woman with the maternity dresses. You know, she only had one thing, and she had a very limited window to deliver on that one thing. But she actually made more money than you could imagine by becoming the advocate for the new mother. She knew what the new mother was going to need before she knew it herself. And by being there and shining the light on the road ahead for that new mother, she became her best friend and a very trusted advisor. So how many products could you sell to that new mother? All you have to do is figure out after she consumes this product, what's she going to need after that? What's she going to need after that? You know the line for the next 18 years. You know exactly what that mother is going to need for every step of the way. And if you don't, just research it. Very easy to figure it out. Very easy to figure out what your customers are going to need in, moving forward throughout their life. So there's a ton of money in Ascension, and it does not have to be your products. If you don't want to work that hard, you don't want to be that involved, maybe you don't want to make products, maybe your first thing is info that leads them into a product series, and you don't want to make the products. Just find the people that do make them and make the referrals, make the commissions. You can make a very good business off of referrals. So anyway, that's the whole line of your funnel. It includes upsells and side sells and cross sells, and sell it any way you want to call it, but just sell some shit. Go ahead, Cheryl.
Can I ask a question about WordPress?
Sure.
So I'm going to share my screen, if I have the right screen here. I'm stumped, and I've searched and Googled and everything, so I thought maybe one of the guys that know what they're doing can help me with this, or Gwen, or Mary Sue. So when I scroll over my top,
okay,
I can't remember how I changed my drop down colors, but they're purple and they're not showing up, and I need to change them to a different color, and I've looked everywhere and I can't figure out how to get to it to do that. Does anybody know the quick skivvy on that?
I know the basis of the answer. I just don't know how to get to it. It's probably going to be in your styles.
I'd imagine under like customize.
Under what, Thomas?
Customize?
Customize? Okay. I tried every effort. I spent hours on this. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to ask everybody if they can give me the shortcut to it, because
yeah, absolutely. Ted says appearance. If you've got an appearance tab.
I've gone there, but I'm missing a step someplace. I'm not sure what the step is, but boy, oh boy, my computer's slow. Gosh, never been this long to load. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I had that same thing just a little while ago. I was working with Chris Koff, and one of the things he had an issue with in his WordPress, all of his links didn't have the underline in it. And that's a style thing.
Okay.
A lot of designers, they'll design on aesthetics, and they don't want the links to be underlined. But think about it from your customer standpoint. If your customers can't see your links, like here, if you don't change your link color to where it stands out, nobody's going to click on it.
Right.
So it's really important that you build for the user experience. Links are supposed to stand out. So by removing the line from under it, you're really hiding the fact that it's a link. So what good does that do you? Why would you link it if you're going to hide it?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, I'm at the customize, and when I go to homepage, I'm looking for.
It won't be under homepage. It'd either be like menu or themes for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Menu.
Try the theme.
Well, when I tried the theme, it just wanted to change me out of header. Is that a header?
Yeah, it may be styling though.
Okay, that's not it. Styling. Okay, does this look
link color.
Close? That?
Link color and hover color, that's when you hover over a link.
Oh, so it's not letting me change it. It's when I click on it, it won't let me do anything. Is that the way the theme forest controls what you're doing?
They should allow you. They should allow you to change those. Like
I think
that should be a link. It says set the link color. You can't.
It doesn't let me do anything when I click it.
For a lock someplace?
Well, it sure could be.
Cheryl, are you sure you're logged in as admin?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, up the top here it shows admin. And I think that's what was stumping me was I couldn't click on anything to try to change the color, and I gotta.
Well, I know you're logged in as admin, but there's a lot of different permissions, I believe, that can be given to any user.
Oh.
So I'm wondering if your user that you're logged in with has full admin capability. I'm not sure how to find that, but that could be part of an issue. Because you should be able. I mean, it even says, you know, set the link color on hover.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll play a little more with it. I've got it written down here.
The other thing too, when you buy a theme from Theme Forest, typically it will come with 90 days of free support.
Okay.
So you might be able to reach out to them and just ask the question of, hey guys, how do I do this?
Okay. So this is a Theme Forest issue more than a WordPress issue, you think?
Yeah, it's something with the theme for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is definitely the theme. The other thing that I might recommend too, there's a lot of information about WordPress in YouTube.
Yeah, I know. I'm living on it.
Yeah, YouTube's a really, really valuable resource for figuring this kind of stuff out. And when you run a search, be as specific as you can.
Okay.
Like in WordPress, go, how do you change the link color in an installed theme on WordPress? You know, something like that. Really, really specific, and it might get you to your answer quicker. But you've got support through Theme Forest as well too, so
I'd be willing to look at it too. I would just have to get login info, but I could help you out, I'm sure.
Thanks, Thomas. I appreciate that. I know it's probably something that someone could just whip right in and yippity yip, but I've tried for hours, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to ask the group. So thanks, guys. I'll stop sharing my screen now.
Yeah, that's I've done the same thing. You know, you get in and you know, you hunt and hunt and hunt, and it's right there in front of you. But that's the cool thing about our group. You know, we've got different people in here that have different skill sets. So, you know, that's the beauty of us being able to rely on everyone. Ted put in there, can you click the edit button as well?
Yeah, I tried that too. You know, the little pen up by it, but it doesn't take me to the drop-down menu.
Okay.
Yeah, I just can't. And I know I changed it at one point, but
yeah, sometimes that's the thing I really don't like about WordPress. I mean, WordPress it's awesome because it allows people to do so much with so little skill level, and that's awesome. I love that about it. But you know, for me, I like to be able to have a high level of what I can change and do it easily and understand it. And a lot of these CMS systems, there's so many modules that so many things are hidden under, and you know, you've got to be working with it almost on a daily basis really to master it. So it gives you a high barrier to entry there on that point. So Thomas says each theme.
Products?
What's that?
Can I ask something about Cheryl's products? Because I can't tell what she sells. Is it her own stuff? Would she like an affiliate link to somebody that does brain stuff that is absolutely awesome?
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that at all. I think part of my stall right now has been what is my product? I mean, I have a couple books. You know, am I really going to be coaching? Am I going to be speaking? I thought I had it figured out, but then when I start thinking about traveling on the road and speaking, I think I don't want that. So, I'm going to do some classes and an online class. But yeah, I would definitely take a look at that for sure.
Well, it's just a doctor that I know that does brain work, and it's just a little app that people buy. But he's been doing it for a long time. He's exceptionally skilled in what it is, and it's so simple to do, and it's just really amazing. And I have a customer also that does brain stuff, but she works mostly with children and patterning. I have no idea if she has affiliate stuff or not, but it's really interesting what she does. So I don't know if you just want to put links to other people's stuff on your site and just explain what else there is out there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it just occurred to me.
Thank you for that. I've got a system that helps me with my brain injury that I do. So I have to take a look at, what is it? And I'm always open to anything if it's helpful. And I know Dr. Amen is a big guy, and I just, he's very heavy on his supplements, and I don't know how I feel about that quite yet, but.
This isn't, I've done Dr. Amen before, and I actually had a brain scan with him. It's not that at all. It's just a little app that you can do it while you listen to anything. You can do it while you work. It just kind of goes, it sounds like little bubbles in your ear.
Oh.
But it repatterns your brain.
Interesting.
And it requires absolutely nothing of you except to buy it and to use it. But you can use it. All you do is put on your headphones so that they're aligned properly. They have to be left and right ear correct. And it's just absolutely amazing.
Wow, I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. I'm always down for something good for people. Thank you.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's funny. I came across your notes that I made with you, Cheryl. This was like months and months back, and I think one thing that you've got that's really cool that I think could be either a phenomenal lead-in or actually a product for sale is, I don't remember what it was before, but I remember what we wanted to call it was the trigger tracker. And basically it's her journaling book to do a daily journal to reveal what is causing your issues. And we came up with that catchy little phrase calling it the trigger tracker. What triggers your headaches, or what triggers your hot flashes, or whatever it may be, whatever your problem is, what's triggering it. And I think that for you would be a phenomenal either lead-in if you want to do it as a free giveaway, or obviously not a printed book, but like an ebook or something, or maybe a cut down version of it that's just that piece, just that trigger tracker, and have that lead into some of your other work, whether it be training or physical, hands-on healing type stuff. And this, I've told you this before, but I think that the people that have blazed the trail on this for you is the ones that are called the healing codes. And I think if you model and pattern that, I think you would have an absolute blockbuster. And you've got a great lead-in. That trigger tracker is a perfect lead-in to that. Figuring out what's causing their problems and how to get rid of them. That's a major opportunity. That is a very big market. So you wouldn't have to be concerned with, do you have the right market? It would just be picking a segment. Like, you could go after headaches, or, you could go after anything that is a recurring problem or issue for people. And
yeah.
Headaches is big. I don't get it because personally I've never had one, and I guess I'm an oddball, but I don't know, if my head hurt, I'd be seriously concerned.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And the concussions, the 6,000 Facebook group, the members of that group, I mean, it's every day we're adding new members. and it just is exploding. I mean, the numbers keep going up every day,
Yep.
and their symptoms are all common.
Yeah, but the thing is, you just really have to decide on what you want to do, and then
I know.
put your train on that track and just don't take it off the tracks. Go until it's done.
Yeah.
And it's not doing it with this method. There's no risk to it. Like if you start a business without this method, without the structure of like the ACT program, you could spend a lot of money and it is a complete crapshoot. But when you're doing it this way and you've verified a market, the market's there, you know what they want, you've got the right thing for them. I say you put the train on the track and you run it till it comes off the rails.
Okay.
Because it's going to be successful, it really is. There's no danger.
It's just time to pull the trigger, isn't it?
Yeah, you just,
Right.
you need to decide, who does Cheryl want to be when she grows up?
That's right.
And then just
Amen to that.
and then just grow up into that, but you gotta pick something. You've got a lot of really cool stuff at your disposal, and you gotta just pick something and go with it. But I'm telling you that healing codes, if I were you, I would go buy that program and just experience it. Go through, see exactly how they do their fulfillment, see what they've got, and just do yours, because the baseline for what they're delivering is pretty much the same thing that you're doing. So you can see how a successful company has built a product line, and built a training program, and then you just do yours with your twist to it. You come up
Okay.
with a catchy name, and you're building on top of something that's proven. It works. It's been working for them for years.
Okay.
So
I think I'm pretty close to it. I think that my pieces and everything, it's just been, I think I'm looking at too many pieces rather than just get the one thing, get it going, and then build off of that.
yes.
So that I think you're right, that just come back to that trigger tracker.
Yep. Get the trigger tracker. Let that be your lead front product. And, even if it's a giveaway, it's still a product. It's still a sale. It's still getting them in. And then move them into, your ascension ladder. But I think, that training, and again, if I were you, I don't know how much that program costs, but I would probably buy it, consume it, see how they do everything, and then just build your system based on that. Use that as your framework. Obviously put your own stuff into it, but let that be your framework. You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
Take a wheel that's already running road under it and just improve upon it.
Okay. All right. That's my task.
There it is. I mean, you know how to market it. You've got all the foundation from this. There's nothing, there's no empty slots in your tool belt at this point.
Okay.
It's just time to, pull out the box of nails and bring the hammer out. Let's start building something.
I think it's built. I think, between the different things that we've done, I think all of those pieces have been built. I just haven't formulated them together to put it out there and make the ad and go.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And that might be, in your own head, you might just not be clear on the sequence.
Yeah, I think so.
You might have all the pieces there. You got all the tools. So, that's something, we can happy to help you with.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go buy that and then look and see all of the little parts. And then I think I'll lay it all out and say, okay, show me my sequence. This is everything I built. Just print it all out and say, let's just 1, 2, 3, 4 it.
Yes.
So I can see the funnel and then
yeah, absolutely.
get busy. All right. Thanks, guys.
Yep. I want to see as many of you on track this year as possible. So if you are stuck, let me know where you're stuck, and I'll do everything in my power to unstick you. So, all right. Anything else? Anybody else got anything before we wrap up here? All right. Well, great call. Let's keep these going. And if any of you guys want to do reviews on your funnel, reviews on your sites, any of that stuff, we're totally open to that. So I know
Hey,
last week.
Are you staying open from 1 to 4 with your Zoom? Are you going to be doing that on Thursdays?
I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about doing, some people are doing that. They call it open office hours. And I'm thinking about doing that. And I might not do it on Thursdays. I might do it on another day of the week to kind of break it up a little bit.
Okay.
But, you know, just for anybody that's got anything, you know, that they need to be shown how to do or whatever that we can't get to on this call. So yeah, and especially as we grow, you know, as we grow, I just brought in a manager for my affiliate program, and it's Jonathan Herbert. He's very well known in the industry. Between he and I, we know just about everybody in the internet marketing world between the two of us. And he has done some big launches. He's done he was actually one of the founders of the Internet Marketing Party, you know, that's had just about every major name you guys have ever heard of come and be hosts at that party. So he's on board. I just started working with him Monday, and we've already made some incredible, you know, groundwork. He's dragging me by the collar, so that's what I need. So our plan is to put enough people in the ACT program that we can do quarterly events with 200 to 300 people. So for those of you that are in the apprentice program and want to be coaches and all that, there's going to be major opportunity for that. So it's right around the corner. His job is for a year. We've got 1 month of putting everything together, and then after that, his job for the next 12 months is to have me on a webinar every week. 52 webinars in the next year, and I'm up for it. I'm ready to go. So his job is to line those up, plug me in, and let me do my thing, and I don't have to worry about anything outside of that. So
question on that,
yes,
if I can.
sure.
I'm looking at doing a small group, just speaking at a small group, and I was thinking of kind of introducing ACT.
Okay.
Would sending them to your webinar be a way to do that, or would it be better doing like our own webinar?
What I
I'm
could
not sure
do,
when this is happening yet.
what I could do, the best thing for that, and this would give you an evergreen type of scenario, is let me get you set up with Jonathan. You can be one of those 52-week webinars, and then we record it, and basically it's me and you on the webinar. You would be introducing me, you know, building up my credibility, and then introducing me to your audience. And that would be recorded, and then we could put that up on your site. And then whenever you do these talks, basically you can give them that webinar for free. You can pitch it, you know, you might get 2 to 5 minutes for a pitch or a talk or something. Or even if you had a half hour or an hour, you could still talk that up. And then for your free thing, your free giveaway is inviting them onto that webinar where they could learn all the details. And then the webinar would go ahead and close them for you, and you'd make the 50%.
Okay, that sounds good.
So that's probably the best way to do that, because then we've got it. It's evergreen, and you can go do these all the time. You know, you don't have to wait for a webinar. You got it on your site ready to go. You can send them there right now.
Okay, sign me up.
All right, awesome. All right, I know Ted was interested in that too, so that is totally up for anybody that's got an audience, you know, that wants to promote and sell ACT. We'll get on there, we'll do a webinar, and that will be your custom webinar for that. So, all right, so I guess that's it for today. Let me know, shoot me an email if you've got anything between now and next week, and we will go to town. We'll get this done. Get everybody up and running. 2018 is our year. That's the year for ACT. I wanted it in 2017, but there was just a few too many loose ends to tie up. But I got them bundled. They're nice. They're pretty. They're they're all behind us. So, all right, guys. Have a great week, and we will talk to you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, John.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.